Hello guys, welcome back to another exciting product review on our channel. Today, we are diving deep into the world of men's health with an innovative supplement called Prostadine. If you are looking for a natural solution to support your prostate health, stick around because this may just be the product for you. So what exactly is Prostadine? Well, it's a carefully crafted dietary supplement formulated to promote a healthy prostate. Now, let's look at what makes Prostadine so effective. First, let's talk about the ingredients. Prostadine contains potent natural ingredients. See. Noriyaki extract powder. Noriyaki is a type of edible seaweed commonly used in Japanese cuisine. It is rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Noriyaki extract powder may contribute to overall health and well-being due to its nutrient content. Wakame extract. Wakame is another type of seaweed often used in Asian cuisine. It is known for its high levels of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Wakame extract may support various aspects of health, including cardiovascular health and immune function. Kelp powder. Kelp is a type of brown seaweed that is rich in iodine, vitamins, and minerals. Kelp powder may help support thyroid function due to its iodine content. It may also provide other health benefits such as supporting immune function and promoting healthy skin. Bladderwrack powder. Bladderwrack is a type of seaweed that grows in shallow waters. It is rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Bladderwrack powder may support thyroid function due to its iodine content and may also have anti-inflammatory properties. Saw palmetto. Saw palmetto is a plant native to North America. Its berries have been traditionally used to support prostate health and urinary function in men. Saw palmetto may help reduce symptoms associated with benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, such as frequent urination and urinary retention. Pomegranate extract. Pomegranate is a fruit known for its high antioxidant content, particularly in the form of polyphenol. Pomegranate extract may support cardiovascular health, reduce inflammation, and provide antioxidant protection to cells in the body. Iodine. Iodine is a trace mineral that is essential for thyroid function. It plays a crucial role in the production of thyroid hormones, which regulate metabolism and support overall health. Adequate iodine intake is necessary for maintaining thyroid health and preventing iodine deficiency disorders. Shilajit. Shilajit is a sticky resin found in the Himalayan mountains. It is rich in fulvic acid, minerals, and other bioactive compounds. Shilajit has been used in traditional Ayurvedic medicine for centuries and is believed to have various health benefits, including supporting energy levels, improving cognitive function, and promoting overall vitality. Neem. Neem is a tree native to the Indian subcontinent. Its leaves, bark, and seeds have been used in traditional medicine for their antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant properties. Neem may support immune function, promote skin health, and help manage various health conditions. Now, what are the benefits of Prostadine? Well, in addition to supporting prostate health, it also helps promote healthy urinary function and provides antioxidant support. This means that you can potentially enjoy less trips to the bathroom and better overall well-being. Now, let's talk about the exciting scientific discovery of August 2022. This innovative research highlighted the effectiveness of Prostadine's key ingredients in supporting prostate health, further solidifying its place as a top-notch supplement on the market. Speaking of credibility, Prostadine comes with all the necessary certification seals, ensuring you get a high-quality product that meets rigorous standards. But why was Prostadine created in the first place? Well, the creators wanted to provide men with a natural alternative to supporting prostate health without the side effects often associated with prescription drugs. And let me tell you, they had the natural formula of Prostadine. Now, let's talk about bonuses. When you buy Prostadine, you will also receive 2 fantastic bonuses to complement your journey towards better prostate health. One bonus is the book A Kidney Restore, 2-day flash detox at home, and another bonus is the book A Rockstar Libido in 7 days. And here's the best part, Prostadine comes with a 60-day warranty, so you can try it risk-free. If you are not satisfied with the results, just return it for a full refund with no questions asked. But I need to warn you, make sure to buy Prostadine on the official website to ensure authenticity and enjoy all the special offers. Here's the deal, guys. If you are ready to take control of your prostate health and experience the benefits of Prostadine for yourself, don't wait any longer. Check out the link in the description below to get your hands on this amazing supplement.